Hello everyone, today we are going to learn about the placental anomalies. So the first one is succenturate placenta. Succenturate placenta here a small lobe of placenta is separated from a big lobe of placenta through some blood vessels. So there is a connection between the small lobe and the big lobe, and blood vessels are the connection. This is the first one, the placental succenturate. So now here the complications of this can be placenta previa. So let's see the complications. This is the basic definition of what is placenta succenturate. The complications of this can be mainly the two, that is the placenta previa, and the next is the vasa previa. Now I will explain what is placenta previa and vasa previa. So let's assume that this is the uterus of the woman. Now if the placenta is within the 2 centimeter of the internal os, or it is touching the internal os, then it is called as placenta previa. That is, if your placenta is present here within the 2 centimeter or it touches the internal os, then it is called placenta previa. Now let's see what is vasa previa. In vasa previa, if we see, there are two lobes of placenta here, right? So if one lobe of placenta is present here and the small lobe of placenta is present here, or vice versa, but it is connected through blood vessels, right? So if it is connected through blood vessels and the blood vessels are touching the internal os, then this is known as vasa previa. Now what will be the complication if vasa previa happens? So the vasa previa, if there is attached to the membrane here in the internal os, so if any trauma is there to the membrane, it will rupture and this will lead to antepartum hemorrhage. Also the fetus presentation will be present here, the vertex presentation. So the fetal if it presses its head towards the vessels, then there will be fetal distress, because these vessels give blood to the fetus, and the blood loss, if happens, this is the fetal blood loss. So there will be fetal distress here. So these are the complications. Also it can also lead to PPH, postpartum hemorrhage. Why? Because if we remove this big part of the placenta here, and we don't know there is a small part, so if we forget to remove the small part, this can cause the postpartum hemorrhage. So these are the complications. Okay, now the second type. First type was this placenta succenturate. Now we will know about the second type. So the second type here is the placenta bilobata. Placenta bilobata. Here you can see that in placenta bilobata, the placenta is mainly divided into two parts and it is supplied by a single umbilical cord, which is divided into two vessels, and they supply the two parts of the bilobata. Now the differential diagnosis here is that if two umbilical cords are supplying the two different placenta, this happens in twin pregnancy. But in this placenta bilobata, a single umbilical cord will be supplied in the two parts of the placenta. So the equal lobes of placenta separated from each other, and umbilical cord is supplying blood. So this is called placenta bilobata, or its another name is placenta duplex. Placenta duplex. Now let's see the third. The third is the membranous placenta. So the third is membranous placenta. So in membranous placenta, assume this is the uterus. Now a whole membrane will be covering, the placental membrane will be covering here. So, and this will be very thin, as you can see from the name itself, it is membranous placenta. Now this membranous placenta will be attached to the uterus through the numerous number of villi. So this is known as membranous placenta. Now in membranous placenta, if it is annual, like it is circle, then it is also known as the annular placenta. Annular placenta. If it is circular, then it can also be named as annular placenta. The fourth type is fenestrated placenta. What is fenestrated placenta? Apologies for the shadow, but fenestrated placenta itself says that there is a natural hole happening in the placenta. This does not create any complication, and it is harmless. A part of placenta or maybe cotyledon is naturally absent. It generally does not lead to any complications. So this is the fenestrated placenta. Now the fifth type is placental spuria. Now this placental spuria is a very rare thing to happen. Okay, in this the placenta is divided into two parts, the small and the big part, like placenta succenturiate. But here it is not connected by any vessels, unlike in placenta succenturiate where it is connected by blood vessels. So what will be the condition happening, like what can be a complication that can happen, is that when we remove this part of placenta, we do not know that still a part of placenta is remaining in the uterus. So this can be a complication, but this situation is very rare. Thank you.